Hello friends, I do hope that you're doing well, and I hope you enjoy the skyline I've given you. I don't want you to think that I've lost my mind and started to believe that I live on a curved surface Earth. But I thought this was a nice way to start. It's a pretty straight line back there, isn't it? Off in the distance. But I'm not going to start by being picking at the ball boys. That's really not cool. Let's try and raise our game level up. We know we do need to. Hello there. We do need to move on. And today's vlog is inspired by a couple of things. Firstly, a friend of mine, Clint. We were in the army together, went through the war together, and he turned up last night at my door, and we had a long chat, maybe 3 or 4 hours. We haven't really spoken a lot since, you know, I realized I needed to walk this path alone, and we're in the park right now, actually, and there's my baby superstar, vaccine free, birth certificate free, and his mother. We have a little bit of time to ourselves today, and but I've been wanting to do something. I've been wanting to say something. Firstly, I did a vlog the other day that was extremely well received by those who like listening to, or who have a similar mindset to me, or whatever. I don't know quite how to characterize the folks that are willing to listen to an hour or two of me talking. But one of them was this old friend from the army, and I'd sent him a link to my YouTube channel. I hadn't really made it very public, because yeah, but and he's been listening, and he wanted to come and chat and connect or reconnect, and I appreciate that, Clint. I enjoyed the conversation. Now he's not going to say that the Earth is flat, but you know, there's a few chinks in his heliocentric armor, and I could see that, and he's got some questions, and you know, he was interested in the DMT or ayahuasca, because the state broadcasters had put out a program, some programming on ayahuasca, which is interesting in itself. If the state broadcaster is talking about ayahuasca, you know, they're going to be messing with it somehow. But that's a conversation for another time. If I have the time today, I'll talk about it. You know, I'm so grateful to the DMT for having opened my mind to the idea that I wasn't descended of monkeys and slime from a pond, from a big bang that some Catholic Jesuit made up. So the DMT and the pineal gland and all of that sort of thing is important, and I think Andrew and I were talking about this at length this morning. I think that the fluoridation of the pineal gland might have more to do with retarding you at your moment of transfer from this life, from this reality, to whatever's beyond, beneath, above, below. But you know, having Clint come around last night gave me some interesting sense that, you know, it's not all lost when it comes to introducing people anew to concepts that seem so alien to some. So I just wanted to mark that. And then I would have started this vlog earlier today, but the Flat Earth British sub, Lee Mowat, did an 8-hour vlog yesterday, and I was trying to catch up with as much of it as I could, given the constraints of my times. So I listened to a bit of that, and that's kind of slowed up my morning. You know, I think exciting things are happening on the flat Earth. I confess I've listened to a little bit of the Owen Benjamin thing over the last month or two, I suppose. In the beginning, I was quite critical, a little critical, I would say, not quite critical, a little critical of his motives. And then I saw, you know, the thing he did with David Weiss yesterday or the day before. I mean, I saw it this morning or last night or sometime, but you know, and that was it was pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that you know, these guys are you know 100% legit. I'm not suggesting that, but what I am trying to say, I suppose, is that actually I've been exploring, you know, some of the Christian channels, Christian truther channels, and you might have listened to Bill Oddie, is it, or Bob Oddle? Pastor Oddle or Oddie, and you know, listening to some of his stuff, and he's just recently ripped into well, maybe a month ago, ripped into a lot of the big name Christian channels, and I find this is interesting because it's like a microcosm of the world out there, where all the different Christian subgroups are at odds with each other about who's the boss and whose version of the book, or a book, or some other chapters of different books. Take Enoch, for example, you know, or the Hebrew boys. You know, who of us is the most righteous and the most accurate in our interpretation of the way that the world is and the way that the creator, who the creator, etc., etc. You know what I mean? And actually, that's kind of disappointing. That is kind of disappointing because if anyone, you would expect the Christian lads, and maybe the Muslim lads, of course, but just as I'm focused on the Christian conversation, you'd expect them to be kind of pulling together around the campfire and going, okay, well, there's a lot of deception in this pond. We don't know exactly what's what, but let's pull together under our Christian kind of thing. But not a bit of it, man. They want to be Hawashais, Joshua, Jesus. Oh, the flag! Yay! This is my beautiful boy. Oh. On a boat, sailing across the flat and level sea. Sea level. Sea level, that's right. Well, be careful, that's a big rock, Alexander. You may be attracted to that rock and be unable to pull yourself away because it's much bigger than you. I did a little example for my friend yesterday, actually, while I'm thinking about it. I don't know what you guys think about this, so I'm going to try and use it in a practical example for people when I'm, you know, out and about trying to do some flat earth or some ball earth busting. And this is my example. Alright, what do we see? We see blades of grass, right? Now, I say that obviously these blades of grass are more dense than the surrounding atmosphere, so they would fall. If there was a pool of water beneath me, they would fall and probably land on and sit on the top of the water because they wouldn't have enough weight or mass or whatever to drag them beneath the surface of a more dense medium like water. But when I drop them in the air, they will simply fall to the ground. We all know that. But if I was to take something like this dandelion here, right, You know, your ball boys will say this grass is falling under the force of gravity. It's not that I picked it up and, you know, it's like the equal and opposite reaction of me picking it up and it now returning to it from whence it came. They would say that that was gravity that pulled these tiny, almost weightless blades of grass back to the ground. So, dear friends, I'll give you the dandelion. Now the dandelion, when I drop, you see, you'll notice the dandelion is familied with all these tiny, tiny little grass-like yellow leaves, right? Each of them weigh no more or no less than those blades of grass that I was dropping a minute ago. Now, when I drop this dandelion to the floor, yeah, like that, you will notice that the dandelion falls to the floor and it will stay in that position until it rots or it's blown away. But if gravity was acting on each of these leaves of this dandelion, on each of the petals, if you like, of this dandelion, then surely as it struck the floor and then over the course of the next while, gravity would start to pull on these guys too. Why wouldn't it be bending, you know, drawing these guys to the ground? These guys are not going to go to the ground until they go soft, rot, and lose any physical integrity or any structural integrity, and they will then rot and, you know, compress in on itself. However, the gravity is the so-called force of gravity is not going to continue acting on this. Now they would say, oh, well, because of the structure of this thing, that it's rigid enough and gravity is not strong enough to pull on that. But it's strong enough, for heaven's sake, to be the reason why this tiny, tiny blade of grass is going to fall to the floor. But it's not strong enough to act on any of these. Once this lands on the floor, or anything else, yeah, put on my shoulder there, it's not going to be pulling on the top of this. Yeah. Does that make sense? I mean, I'd be interested in your feedback on that, guys. I'll look back at the comments perhaps later on. Oh, the comments are going pretty fast here. There's no way I can read them right now. So yeah, I'd be interested in your feedback on that. I mean, maybe this is one that's been done and dusted, and people have already discussed this ad nauseum. And I know for sure that the science teachers will have, you know, a ready explanation as to why gravity is only, once it reaches something that stops it, gravity is not going to be pulling on these top ones, or if it is, it's acting in such a minute way that it cannot overcome the rigidity of the structure of this flower. But I think you'll get my point. I mean, you could take a rose with soft petals and so on, and you lay that rose on the ground, and the petals that are sort of pointing upwards will be unaffected by any forces acting upon them, other than traditional rotting and so on. Okay, so that's that. But back to the Owen Benjamin thing. I think I was talking about that before I distracted myself. I said the other day that somewhere that you know, it might be possible that we are in this sort of truther movement infected by the Flat Earth Society. Hey, beautiful boy, what's up? We coming? Oh, he's not used to me not contributing to the playtime. I have to say, this might get a little bit untidy. So if I have to end the stream.
Down the curve.
He loves sliding down the curve. Look, it's flat on the top and curved on the side. We can see that quite obviously, and it's very visible.
If you fall off the edge, Daddy.
What happens? You roll down. You're gonna slide down. Oh, whoa! Look at that. It's amazing. Look at this spinning. This is a spinning Earth. See, the Earth is spinning around. Or is it the sky that's spinning around? No, of course not, son. See, my 2-year-old boy, he knows. He knows. It's not hard. He's going through a phase of like trying to put his body through all sorts of actions and so on, and hurting himself sometimes too. So you've got to keep a bit of a sharp eye on the lad. But the Owen Benjamin, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and then the Eric DeBay thing and so on, it could absolutely, let's be honest, it could absolutely be a part of the clever rollout of this truth. You're following me, Zizi. Me come watch you. Okay? It could be a part of the clever rollout of this. So, mind the poo-poo. Old lady said to me the other day when I was walking with him, "Oh, he's walking with no shoes on." Yeah, but dogs poo. So I'm like, whoa. You know, we can wash our skin, you know. Anyway, so you know, it could be part of a clever kind of rollout of the sort of mass media preparation for flat Earth to become far more acceptable as a thing, and this could be a part of that. But I want to say this to you, my friends, that actually I love what's going on with them. You know, I have had my criticisms of the Globebuster business in terms of that behind the curve mockumentary. I have been critical of that, and they may well be Flat Earth Society. They may well be government shills. I don't know. But as I was saying to Andy yesterday, I don't think that it matters. In fact, I welcome it. I'm like, bring it on, because at the end of the day, we want this out, and the only people that are going to get this out are under the government's kind of perhaps media blanket, right? And they have to be like high-profile people, and they have to be on the payroll, and they have to be selling a controlled version of what the Earth is in the flat Earth model, and they have to keep us arguing about models, and they have to ensure that we never go deeper than some of the things that we're starting to think about, and you know, some of you are thinking about already. But that doesn't matter, because remember, we're not looking for 100% hit rate here. You know, this is not a competition to see whether the flat Earth theory can necessarily, you know, obviously the globe theory is so riddled with just ridiculous ideas and content, and you know what I mean, it's not credible at all when you spend a few days really looking at the science behind it, right? That's not a problem. Yeah? Where are we going? Should we go to the trees and say hello? Come. Oh, you got something on your toe? No? It's alright. Did you got a thorn? It's alright. Let me carry. It's alright.
Want me carry?
You want to say hello? Hello?
Say I'm 2.
I turned 2 yesterday.
I'm 2.
I'm 2 years old, apparently. Oh yeah, there are some little spikies down here. I can see why he didn't want to walk. But actually, I welcome it, because the uncomfortable truth is that 90% or 90-something% or 80-something%, or anyway, a large percentage of people are not designed to work all of this out, or not designed to see this. And eventually, if the government come and tell their subjects that, you know, that there's been some misinformation and actually the Earth isn't what we've been told and all that sort of thing, then they will just, you know, suck that up. It's also the case that if Owen Benjamin and his bareback bear riders realize that, you know, they go, oh yeah, no, the Earth is flat, but we're going to corral your mind in a particular way, then that's what's going to happen. We can't control that. We can't stop that. We can. Yes, well, as Andrew's saying, we can use discernment, but That way. Okay. Well, we can use we must use discernment, of course, and we must stay in the kind of higher vibrating kind of thing, rather than wanting to fight our brethren over what version of the Bible they read and what kind of what version of the Bible they ascribe to, what religion they are, and what belief system they are, and so on. That's what they want us to keep doing. That's what I see with this Christian group. It's like, wow, so we've learned that the earth is flat. We've learned that we've learned that government is a Phoenician, if I can take from the Flat Earth British lads research, that it's a Phoenician a construct, and that you see how many of these you see when you go out walking, little baggies. This is when it comes to plastic recycling and so on. If they had to have a campaign that collected all these little 20 or 30 pound bags, they'd be able to build an entire ship out of plastic bags. And of course, for me, who's got no weed in my life, I don't want to see this detritus of marijuana smoking, if you don't mind. Anyway, so that, you know, this Phoenician construct that we are living in is obviously designed to tear us apart, keep us kind of squabbling with each other. So as they roll out this truth, they want for the world to see that the flat earth movement is just full of people fighting with each other. You know, the religious dudes, even, you know, within the flat earth, you know, we're like, okay, he's in flat earth, but he's psyop flat earth, you know, he's the flat earth society, or those are the flat earth society, or they're Jewish and they're this and they're that. And I don't want to keep thinking about that. I don't want to keep exercising my precious energy on pardon, darling? And nor should we, or me, according to my wife. Yeah. Just say that to the camera, will you, darling? Hello.
Hi. I said we spoke this morning about how important our own spiritual journey is, and at the end of the day, when we pass over, rebirth, die, whatever you want to call it, you're on your own. You're not holding hands with a whole bunch of people. It's yours, and where your soul is at that stage really is important. And so it's important to be protecting, nourishing, uplifting, trusting.
All part of this leveling up,
Yeah,
because we come from a system of squabbling, infighting, distrust, mistrust, and so on. Justified, yes, perhaps, but if we've learned anything along this way is that we are somewhat divine or somewhat incredible, and everything that's ever been done to us has been designed to deny us of that, whether it be in the religion of Christianity or the religion of scientism or Islam or Judaism or even Buddhism and so on. You can't. None of these sectors can be are free of the poisoning, of the Phoenician poisoning, if you like. Lee was making some phenomenally interesting thoughts. So he was saying some amazing things, some amazing ideas. That man has got an absolute genius of a mind. I'd say an Einstein mind, but that would be an insult. Higher than that, for sure. So you know, I won't go into to that, because it's quite a deep thing, and my battery's low. I'll get to that, darling. I'm coming too. Yes, darling, I'm coming too. But so really what I'm wanting to do is, there's a kind of, for me, there feels like a lighter, more loving energy around. I'm feeling that in myself. We've both been feeling that this last couple of days, you know, and I hope you're feeling that too. It's not that I've addressed some of the 3D matrix bumps in the road that I still have to contend with. I haven't necessarily done that. But in my soul, I'm coming to realize how valuable we are and how important it is that our value is maximized through the realization that if we level up, see the bumblebee, is that big bee? If we level up and we start doing this in a much more loving way, and we stop looking at each other like as suspects. I mean, I will say up front that I think that you know, some of the constructs and the Mark Sargent interview that he did with that black dude and some other dude, I can't remember the name of the dude. He was a scientist, I suppose. That's his religion. I think Mark Sargent, you know, is pushing this sort of terrarium dome model. I've said that, and I think that I disagree with that. But do I want to kind of have a do I want in my heart to be kind of sweating over whether these guys are misleading people? Well, you know what? All of us have been misled. The system has misled all of us, and it will continue to mislead people. Now, while I continue to fight that battle, then I'm still misled. So I'm saying to you that I'm pushing myself to raise my game, become more of that loving light.
I think if you're going to level up,
Oh,
you have to be,
the lady's speaking.
you're going to have to be open. You have to be open to change, and you have to be open to what's new that's coming in. And if you're blocking it with fear and anger and all those negative
Blocking.
then you know, you're kind of stuck. And there's just this feeling like we don't need to be stuck anymore. We need momentum. So that requires you to kind of open your eyes, open your heart.
Open your eyes, open your heart. And so yeah, you've been you know, we've been given this information. People are going to come in and try and shut our hearts down. Now obviously it's one thing to go and stand in the street and argue with people who tell you you're a retard for thinking that their science is bunk. But what, you know, here we are, and where are we going to be? Are we going to, as I've said before, I don't want to be one of those guys whose channel is all about you know, arguing like Nathan Oakley does with you know, kudos to the man for doing that, but I don't want to be one of those guys who's arguing with all the bald guys, because, you know, that will make me bald, that will make me grey, that will make me, when I die, when I go, will make me a miserable man. And in terms of being a light to others, like my friend Clint, you know, like others, then that will reduce my effectiveness and my ability to be that to them, to myself, to my loved ones. And so that's really what I wanted to say. If I've got a few minutes to quickly check at a few comments, just say a few hellos. I don't have my glasses with me, so I can see Dick's there. Hi, Mr. Flinghammer, and Red Eye. Hi all, and Ricardo. Nice to see you. And Astro, of course. Yeah, Astro, you said something the other day on a personal note. I still kind of moved by that. Hey, Branko, how are you doing, my friend? It's nice to see you all here. Thanks so much for stopping by. Gaining wisdom in Louisiana. That's where I got in Louisiana. I spent a little time there. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean, we'll talk about what Dick was saying about when you party. Oh, that's maybe a different conversation, but maybe it was about the DMT. I'm on just a few percentage of batteries, so religions are insane. You know what? There's some Christian dudes on my channel, and I much love and respect. But I know that the programming for the Christian mind, like the Muslim mind and the Jewish mind, is so intense that it's almost like I'm being rude when I speak my truth. You know, like no matter what that is, they like. It's a little bit like the ball boys. You know, they absolutely hate the idea. Hello, dog. They absolutely hate the idea that that their science could be bullshit and they've been, you know, that they have pulled over their eyes. And we all have to know that that's happened to us all, you know, no matter what group you belong to or come from, you know. So that's why I go back to my heart and not a book. Yeah. Is that flat barley? Hello, friend. Thor's, yeah, I'm Mr. Venster. Hello, my friend. Oh, is that what happened with Karen Sun and Moon Channel? Did she have to pull that down or something? I don't know. Someone said to me the other day, wrote to me the other day and said some of her content has been taken out. I don't know if the whole lot. I've been meaning to write to her and check she's okay. I hope that you are, Karen, if you're hearing this. Yes. Anyway, I'm almost out of battery and I don't want this to end. That's Tree Hugger Dave. Empowerment of sovereignty, inner sovereignty lightens the load. And much love, man. This is what it's all about. Yeah, you got some pretty flowers, it's easy. What can you see? Oh, right.